3, 2.
I'm going to try to keep my composure.
A few moments later.
His very first move as the executive? Who was on crack?
Hey everyone, welcome to Zeitgeist Zealots. I'm Forrest.
Major.
I'm Robbie.
And I'm Tip.
Major doesn't trust politicians, and we're about to find out now.
Oh, yeah. So no one's talked about this, and it's kind of eerie but Google has all of your search history, right? So we can go ahead and effectively just assume that 99% of people have watched porn and 100% of politicians have watched porn, except for Mike Johnson, because he's got the app with his son, so his son gets a notification whenever his dad's trying to wank off or whatever. So besides Mike Johnson, everyone else has watched porn. So I feel like Google can just come to a senator or the president, on an election year, or, whenever they want to. And it's like, hey, I want you to pass this bill, or we're going to release your porn search history from like 20 years ago when you were a weird, kinky motherfucker. So, it's just, no one's talked about it, the immense power that big tech has, including over this podcast. I guess if you're watching this right now, it's because of big tech. So I guess we're just going to have to Ron Swanson this and fight it from the inside. Thank you so much for joining us on Zeitgeist Zealots. Make sure to like and subscribe down below. If you're worried about your politician watching porn, at least your future politician. You know what they should be watching, though, and that is Stellar Blade. Have you guys been watching the controversy around this hot item?
Oh,
No,
we missed the great opportunity for a lot of Mike
game?
Johnson puns.
Uh,
PlayStation game or what's it?
We are. Tip, do you want to get your dick jokes out of the way real fast?
Yeah, the Mike Johnson. That was from The Simpsons.
Oh, is he? Well, is Mike Johnson from The Simpsons? Which season? 1 through 50? It's hard to keep up with all those characters.
16.
Bart
still
calls
going.
Mose. He's like, "Hey, is Mike Johnson there?" And Mose calls out, "Mike Johnson! Mike Johnson! Has anyone seen Mike Johnson?"
There you go. Yeah, the classic Bart pranks. Oh, that's from when The Simpsons were really good. No, I appreciate that. Thanks for that little trip down nostalgia. Memory lane there.
I'd like to talk to Amanda Hug and Kiss. Amanda Hug and Kiss. Does anyone know where I can find Amanda Hug and Kiss? Can I find Amanda Hug and Kiss? Maybe the stairs are too high, no?
My
Speaking of,
is,
go ahead. What's your favorite,
you're
Matt?
fine, you're fine. Joey Joe Bob Shababadoo, when Homer tries to come up with a fake name and Joey Joe Bob Shababadoo is right next to him. Mo says, "That's the most ridiculous name I've ever heard," and he runs off crying.
What a subversion of expectations. I bet you enjoyed episode 8 of Star Wars, directed by Rian Johnson.
I know, yeah.
We're going on this rabbit hole already, huh?
No, I know. No, I'm kidding. So let's get back to it. Yeah, Robbie, we hinted at this with Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade, a lot of rumors haven't come, not rumors, but a lot of murmurs haven't come out that this has Game of the Year capabilities. It looks pretty fun, but there's a lot of controversy with the main character just being too voluptuous. And fact,
voluptuous.
Yeah, and
yeah, she is the picture that people are using to meme.
Curvy.
When Microsoft put out that.
Pardon me, ma'am.
Microsoft put out that thing of about developers not like avoiding curvy female characters. All the memes were centered around the character.
Was this character
the
here?
Other side.
So a French writer for IGN went on Twitter and started talking about how this had unrealistic body expectations for women. To wit, this dumbass got blasted from South Korea because the actual female body was based on a real life South Korean model.
I've seen the pictures of her.
Yeah, so they did some really cool 3D body scan technology.
I've looked into some of it.
Yeah, it's called research for the podcast.
Yeah, research.
Yeah, at least that's what I told my wife.
Nude research.
So
it does look like a cool game, though. I've seen some of the games.
It looks very fun. It's a callback to Bayonet.
It's something to look at when you're climbing up a ladder too.
There's an option to shorten.
That was what I saw a little clip somebody put on YouTube of it was just her. They had her just slowly going up the ladder, and they had like a little jiggle effects on her.
Hey, if I had to watch, if I had to watch Metal Gear Solid, if I had to watch Snake's cheeks,
oh, you see Snape go up a ladder for a long time,
for my entire childhood, then I feel like this is totally appropriate.
They start playing that theme song as he's going up that ladder.
Yeah.
It's
now, you might not be the only one
game.
who's enjoying watching women's physical activity, Robbie, because Shaquille O'Neal says he's only watching women's college basketball this season. Is that sexist as shit or what? Like, would that be weird if the roles were reversed? Like, if an ESPN commentator came out and said, I'm only watching men's sports this year, wouldn't he
I feel
be
like he got paid to
dragged
say
through the
that.
mud? Of course he
well,
did.
hey,
He gets
women's
paid to-
sports need some more viewers.
He's like the only guy in
Yeah.
the stands.
Exactly.
I don't have a problem with
You know, they're apparently getting
Fine.
some. I don't know if you heard this recent showdown. There's these two women in college basketball. He's apparently just bringing the whole sport to life. UConn had a game. They had 14.2 million viewers. So it's not like there's this narrative out there
Yeah,
that
they're
like,
not getting they're not
America,
getting
like
no
men hate women or whatever. We hate
Shaq is one in a
boring
million,
shit, right? If it was exciting, we'll watch it. And fucking shit's finally exciting, and we're finally watching it. So I say keep it up. That's awesome. But
I hear when it comes to soccer though, like the women's side has a ton of viewers.
they
Well,
used
especially-
to. They
Does
used
it?
to.
Oh,
Well,
I
Rob,
don't
we
know.
used to.
I
We
don't
watched.
know all the stats on it.
We used to watch the Women's Cup together. We all held hands. Well, we went arm in arm during PKs in the Women's Cup final against Japan, passing around that bottle of vodka in the basement of our college house. So, like, women's soccer was all the rage, until they just really just started complaining a lot. And then they started losing. And America hates? Whiny fucking losers, right? We enjoy winners. If you're a winner, you can talk all this shit. You can do weird stuff. You can have weird political views, but you go
Dennis
out there and you
Rodman.
get us the gold. Exactly. Dennis Rodman. Exactly. You get us the gold.
Like, he's like North Korea.
Yeah, we got Dennis Rapinoe over here, who's just got a classic foot and mouth syndrome. Who's like, she injured herself in her last professional game. She hurt her Achilles or whatever. And then in her post-game review was like, well, this is clearly evidence that there's not a God because I injured myself in my last fucking game. And so, like, if you're wondering, like, why women's soccer is falling off, it's the players. But for the most part, America just likes winners, and we like entertaining shit. Which is why James Gunn is going to go ahead with Peacemaker Season 2.
That'd be
Yeah.
nice.
What do you guys think about that?
I enjoyed Peacemaker.
I saw the first season and I haven't really thought about it.
Really? I
Enjoyable,
think
but,
Peacemaker might be the only show that we've covered in recent memory that I would even consider going back and watching. This and Invincible. I feel like watching Invincible Season 1 and 2 would be good together.
I will say I normally hate the DC universe, and this is one of the few things in the DC universe that I actually thoroughly enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the Suicide Squad.
That's a big
Which
thing coming from
it's
that.
the Suicide
The
Squad.
Suicide
Not
Squad.
So
Suicide Squad.
you just like the James Gunn stuff in the DC EU.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, I like the first Man of Steel. The first Wonder Woman
Damn, is
was
that,
okay. The first Shazam was pretty damn good, I felt.
I thought so as well.
Oh, I watched
Squad
Shazam.
sucked. Yeah, that was that was like such a sad movie because it's just like, it's not like Batman where his parents die. Like, his mom literally just like, yeah, I don't want you. That was pretty
Yeah.
nuts
Oh,
for
I
a
forgot
superhero
about
movie.
Rough.
He's like, oh, really,
Rough.
Batman? Your
Oh.
parents died? Superman, your parents died on your planet? Yeah, my parents freaking abandoned me. They knew exactly where I was, and they just walked away. Yeah. So
And now
Well,
I'm a superhero.
that has some kind of, yeah. He built his character up. We can just look at the positive side of it. He's a stronger
So-
person.
If you think so.
Uh,
I feel like that did not equate into Shazam 2.
no, Shazam 2 is
Right.
like just a complete goofy mess.
And the disjointment, again, the child actor
Disjoint,
and the
diminished.
man actor were two completely different characters none of which had the wisdom of Solomon or whoever it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I felt like the most logical thing for the sequel was to have Black Adam, but
Yes, good
Rock
job.
was like, no, I'm going to do my own Black Adam movie for some stupid reason. So they had to come up with this weird story with Lucy Liu and
he changed the hierarchy of the DC universe. He got rid of the whole
James
thing.
Gunn is now James Gunn is top of the hierarchy. He literally
That's
did.
right.
So he's a man of his word.
He pilot drove the entire universe into the ground. They had to rebuild it from scratch. That's how big The Rock is. Dude, if The Rock can't make a successfully viable movie in your franchise, scratch the whole franchise. Start over.
Well, what's he done? Fast and Furious. Someone else has
Jumanji.
Was Black Adam not successful?
No,
No.
not commercially.
It made some money. Yeah, it made some money, but
I mean,
don't think it was
I
like-
saw it. It was okay.
I liked it.
It was,
I have special
it had-
memories.
oh,
though.
it was good.
Yeah.
It was good, but I think it ended just nah. It was not a great.
I heard Pierce
It was-
Brosnan was good as Dr. Fate.
Yeah, he was awesome.
He was great.
But like the ending was like just like
Fast.
that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. And they
Right
gave away a big, spoiler alert in the
Oh no! Don't say
in the
don't say
commercial.
it.
No, in the
Somebody
commercial.
hasn't seen it, dude. It's
No,
like
it was in the
so-
previews. I'm not going to give away, but in the previews, they give away a huge plot twist, and like so during the
At the,
reveal in the
at
movie.
the very end, it's like at the right as the credits are rolling.
No, I'm
the
talking about
character that appears.
No, I'm talking about in the middle with his son, like his son being
Oh.
Black Adam, not him, and then his son dying. Like they showed his son dying in the trailer, so not great decisions all around.
Oh yeah, don't give big
Okay, I'm actually
spoilers
going to
like
be
that.
honest. I put Black Adam on, and then I walked away, and so I've only seen the second half.
Well,
And I
that's
figured,
probably the only half.
Oh,
the
that's
only half
probably
you need
good
to
enough,
see.
right?
Yeah, this probably followed through from the very beginning.
I only saw White Eve.
I really enjoyed it because my wife and I went, and it was our first time on a date. We went to a drive-in theater, so had a special memory, which is why I think I enjoyed that movie so much. Guys, do you think you're gonna enjoy the new Fantastic Four movie?
We'll see. I mean, I think now the shock that they're casting a female Silver Surfer, despite like all the dumb justifications online. It was like
timing. If they didn't mean it to, like, check a box, it's horrible timing with everything going on.
I mean, it's been like how many months after the Pandaverse at South Park? You would have thought.
No, it was 2 hours after Bob Iger gave a presentation to shareholders where they said that they were going to focus on the message, or they were going to focus on entertaining people, making entertaining content and not the message. And then 2 hours later, it comes out that Julia Garner is going to be the new female Silver Surfer. Now,
dude, she was cast way ahead of that. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Like she was, like she
and
had that job, the contract signed.
And his comments were written well before then, right? And Bob Iger is notorious.
And there even is like a woman Silver Surfer, but isn't it like an alternate universe kind of thing?
Yeah, it was like only for like 5 issues. So
it's like
5.
It was 4 comic run. Yeah.
It's like literally like 60 years. 60
Oh, it
years
is out there. It's not
hundreds
a made
of
up
issues,
thing.
Norrin Rad, a Silver Surfer being thrown out the window. But I think the other reason this is being done because there's already been a movie with the Silver Surfer and the Fantastic Four. So I think maybe like Feige's justification for this was like, well, we've already seen a male Silver Surfer on screen, so a way to differentiate this movie from the previous movie, we have to make them female. So it's like not a great reason, but I'm guessing that's justification.
But it's every time you're like, oh, but we did male last time, and he was white last time, so let's change him up this time. So I mean, that's what happens when all the comic book characters used to be white males, right?
Just
so like
gonna
everything's going to
add
be
to the
different.
fatigue,
Everything's going to be diverse if you're going to like go down that arc. However, they did hire a white woman, and I'm not necessarily opposed to this, right? Like give the woman a chance. We haven't even seen her act. She could be the best actor for the role, right? She could have been so stand out that this is exactly the person you want. I don't know. She was Ruth in Ozark,
No.
right? That's very popular. She was Marcy in Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, right? Someone might have watched that
Ruth
movie.
in Ozark was pretty badass.
Yeah. Now, I do think they missed an opportunity here. We could have had our first $2 billion movie in the movie industry if they had casted Sydney Sweeney to be the lady female, the Silver Surf, her, right? The Shala Ball. You know, Shala Boops. That'd be a good name for her on the internet. Could have had a $2 billion movie right there. So I think that's a big mistake Marvel made.
Basically, Magic Mike on steroids. Just, you know, complete like sex appeal being sold to sell a movie. Wait, how much did Magic Mike make? Like that made like over $1 billion, right? Just because of horny women.
Possibly. I don't know. Someone can look that up real fast while we dive into the last thing I just wanted to briefly talk about before we get into today's episode. And that's do we need men in superhero movies?
Yes.
There's a very popular trope going around. You know, you might have seen it on the TikToks or the Instagram reels where, you know, women are asked on the street, do we need men? And they all, you know, say no. So I wanted to ask you guys, do we need men in superhero movies? Or can we go all female? What do you guys think?
I mean, that's what they're doing anyway, and that seemed to. Well, let's look at the Marvels. The proof's in the pudding. How well did that turn out?
Oh, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. I don't know. It could be.
I haven't watched it either, honestly.
Exactly.
And it's not because it's all girls. It's because it's bad reviews. Because it sounded stupid. Because all the views I saw looked terrible.
But the people who think this is a good idea to like just put all replace all heroes with females are not good writers to begin with, because their logic for doing that's dumb to begin with.
Well, and I think a lot of it is they've turned that into their main focus and not the story.
I heard someone sum this up best. I wish I could give them credit for it, but I didn't realize how impactful their comment was. If they did the same thing, but still made a really good story that people would be interested in watching. Oh yeah. I'm thinking about Alien.
Well,
Tomb Raider. I actually meant to prepare a list beforehand. The original, Lara Croft. Get out of here, bro! In the 90s. In the for the 90s, bro. Get out. Yeah, it was just. Whatever. It felt 90s. It probably started production.
Sarah Connor.
90s. Sarah Connor. Thank you. There's a long list of badass females. What you need is a good movie. You just need a good storyline.
And none of the promotion was like, look at our female main character.
Yeah, look at Wonder Woman versus Wonder Woman 1984, right? Everyone liked Wonder Woman. No one liked Wonder Woman 1984. And then everyone, when they didn't like 1984, they were all sexist, racist pigs or whatever. And it's like, what? Why? We liked the first one. Why?
Well, the reason it took such a damn long time for Wonder Woman to come out in the first place is because we had two really shitty super female superhero movies, Elektra and Catwoman. And after those bombed, they got horrible reviews.
Yeah.
They literally Hollywood was like, no more female superheroes.
Yeah, like Ike Perlmutter, who didn't think it was financially viable.
They literally thought like women are toxic and they can't make good movies. It was like, well, no, those are just like really shittily written movies.
Yeah. I mean, look at Captain Marvel. Just stick a female-driven superhero movie in between two of the largest superhero movie events of all time, and you'll make $1 billion. Problem solved.
Blam.
But I mean, there is a good Carol Danvers movie out there in another universe. It's just they had like the reason they made her Captain Marvel in the first place was like purely for trademark issues.
She's too powerful. She's too powerful to make a good storyline.
That's why they got to have her.
That's why they always
doing something else in the galaxy.
Yeah, that's why she's always going to be written bad.
She's basically a cheat code with how powerful she is.
We're going to talk about X-Men.
Does she have any weakness?
I want to read this. Yeah, box office sales.
What's her
box office? Yeah, box office returns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not be Captain Marvel 3. Yeah.
Major, do you have like a cha-ching sound or something? Would be funny. Like,
This is like an issue. This is an issue
Oh,
on last.
I don't think I have that one day.
DJ Robbie.
Well, this is sort of the issue
Robbie.
with female superheroes, like, and the new Tom King run by Wonder Woman by Tom King. She's literally like telling this guy like, I have no weaknesses, and I'm just like, okay, well that makes it a boring character then, because if the character doesn't have like any flaws,
Yeah.
weaknesses, there's no stakes.
Yeah.
Look at
Does
Daenerys.
she have any moral flaws?
Then there's
Pride.
nothing to
I have
really
no
worry about.
weaknesses.
That in
Nothing can
fights.
hurt me.
Well, look at Daenerys from Secret Invasion, right? She got all the powers in the Marvel universe in the last episode, and we all liked her in Game of Thrones. She's a fantastic actor, right? But you give them all the superior powers and you make them invincible, then they're boring.
Or hell, look at Dr. Manhattan. He's basically a god.
Boring. He's boring. Now, that actually is a good point, Robbie.
His whole
Major, you
build-up,
said
though,
all
is really
powers.
his whole build-up is really interesting, and like you don't know what he's gonna do.
True.
But he has to go to Mars.
Was she able to make
They
spaghetti out of her fingers? That's the key.
I mean, that's
'Cause Dr. Manhattan can.
he can do anything, including cover up, but he
He can do
chooses not to.
All
right.
X-Men 97.
You want to do Invincible or X-Men
Let's do
97?
X-Men 90. Let's do X-Men 97 first, and we'll talk about like Invincible at the end because
We had a two-parter for X-Men, and then we'll cover the Invincible finale.
I thought we were just doing episode 4 because we did 2 and 3 last time. I thought.
Episode 4 is a two-parter.
Oh, it's like
it is?
Yeah, it's like it's
It's
not a
Jubilee.
two-parter,
It's
a-
Mojo, and then there's
It's like two
Life Death
stories in
Part
one.
1. What two-parter, 2 stories in one?
So episode
What's the
5
difference?
is
Comment down
episode
below
4,
if the
part
semantic
2?
police.
Is-
Episode 4 is 2 parts. The first part is Jubilee, right? That Matt is this Matt's favorite episode of all time? Like,
oh, you're
dude,
saying you're splitting it up in 2 parts?
It is one of my favorite characters. It's not one of my
Mojo.
favorite episodes.
Oh.
Gotcha,
So-
Mojo.
I liked kind of what it was doing. I love the arcade animation, but
Yeah,
I feel like the way they're treating Jubilee is kind of like
a child.
they're she's 18, but they're trying to go too childish with it. I feel.
Well, the issue I had with this episode was like I had no idea what the hell happened at the end. Did Jubilee defeat Mojo? Did old Jubilee defeat Mojo, or was it just Spiral who just knocked him out at the control panel?
They
Because
teamed up
it was just-
together. They held
So-
hands.
Jubilee and Jubilee killed the virtual Mojo, and then Spiral killed.
At
well,
the
didn't
same
kill.
time.
Well, apparently it seemed.
Well, you die in the game, you die in real life.
and he got put in the game.
Yeah.
This
what's
is
her
real,
name, with all
man.
the arms.
So
Yeah,
it
that
feels
was
like he
kinda
died.
Really stupid. That was really stupid. Like, okay, so wait,
I was-
Spiral just knocked him out the entire time.
I was more interested in Storm's story, which is only like a small part of the episode.
Like with Forge, like being a complete simp. Like,
Oh, how about? Or yeah, okay. Before
or just like Storm trying to get her powers back. And
Forge has one of the
Yeah.
cooler power sets of all X-Men. It's like
he's really good at inventing.
Darwin, right? That's a really cool power set that got butchered on the X-Men movies or in the X-Men
Oh, yeah.
movies.
Darwin, what can he do?
He can survive anything. His body adapts and evolves, so you can't kill him.
And they still found a way to kill him.
And
I
it's
thought it
really
was-
cool in the comic
it's
books, like how
any-
he evades
any-
death.
Any kind of force or energy. That
Just
hits him.
his body they take out
that's
all the
crazy.
air in the room, and his body will change, so he no longer needs to breathe air to survive. His body will adapt to literally anything. I think one time it teleported him. One
Does more
time,
than I thought he did.
yeah, one time he was about to
I thought
die.
he just absorbed energy and shot it.
One time he was about to die. I think his body teleported him across the universe to save him. So like Darwin is supposed to survive anything, and yet was it X-Men 2 or Days of Future Past or whatever?
No,
crazy.
first class.
First class, they
First
just
class, yeah.
like kill him like a dog in the mud.
Well, what's
I
funny
just
is
know,
like, even
I
the
just know
comics,
some of the main X-Men characters, honestly.
like in the comics, like he was part of the team that went after the original 5 X-Men before Wolverine, Colossus, and Storm did in Giant Size X-Men. So it was sort of like a retcon, and I think he died on that island too. So
Jeez.
X-Men 97. Let's talk about the Mojo story first. So Jubilee.
Violent.
and what's his name? Sunspot. They're not calling him Sunspot yet. But it's
Roberto.
Yeah,
but he becomes
Del Costa.
Sunspot. Do you think, Matt, they'll do a New Mutant spinoff of this cartoon if it continues to be successful?
I'm seeing it.
Because
I
was rewatching the old series today, and they showed Colossus' sister Ileana, who becomes Magic, and we already have Sunspot, so we just need Cannonball and Wolfbane.
But here's the other issue though is that New Mutants, like Jubilee, started in New Mutants and then went to X-Men, so canonically we're kind of like we would be working backwards. But
and I think Wolfbane. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I do think it's a possibility because Disney loves retconning everything. So
they love spin-offs. That's the thing. I mean, look at Star Wars.
Here's the thing, though, too. Because with New Mutants, you're gonna have Cable come up because Summers is born there.
Well, New Mutants became X-Force, right?
Yeah. So that's where I was going with it. X-Force because you have Forge now. Forge joins X-Force. Cable's there.
Is that like their Teen Titans?
No.
New
Mutants. X-Force is kind of like the special forces of what the X-Men aren't willing to do, X-Force will do. Deadpool actually appeared originally in X-Force.
That's with the Weapon X program?
Yeah,
no, that's separate.
No.
Okay.
Separate.
They just just like Glitter X. And
there's so
everything.
many X's everywhere.
That's this whole thing. Because what I want to mention really quick, just to kind of jump ahead, but we'll get back to Jubilee, is I loved if you caught it very, very quickly when Forge and Storm are talking and walking by, there's a picture of X Factor.
Yes.
Forge's thing, and I loved it because that was like an actual comic book cover, and it's one of the Marvel cards from the 90s, and it's just like casually thrown in the background. So there's a lot of X's coming up here now.
And I think Wolfsbane was in that version of the team, the old cartoon. So I don't know if she could be in the New Mutants spinoff that I'm totally spitballing at this point.
Matt,
but,
is that the look? Is that the show don't tell you were asking for in the last episode? Instead of him just being like, "Oh, I used to work with the X Factors back in the day."
So let me explain the history of this.
So they still do a lot of telling. But what I like about that is that's I feel a great way to make a nod to the true nerds without hitting them over the head with it.
Right. Okay.
So they're still doing a lot of telling.
So the ones who know will know.
Yeah.
Just a little Easter egg. It's turned into an Easter egg instead of a flashback.
It's not like Star Wars where it's like, hey, here's C-3PO again. Why not? Nerds
shove it down your face.
Hopefully we'll see X.
Look at it.
And we'll also find out which in X Factor is the best singer. Okay. Is that singer?
Do.
Yeah, I had to. But yeah, so back to Mojo World. We saw Spiral. Is Spiral? So how does Mojo World work, Matt? Is it like another dimension, or is it just like an alien planet with a bunch of like races that Mojo's collected?
It depends on which comic run you're going on. It kind of is all over the place.
Classic.
It looked like he was in real life, but somewhere else. But then there was a virtual reality.
It's like there's different dimensions and there's different worlds and there's different planes.
They were definitely plugged in, and it was kind of creepy seeing the stuff like go up to
their eyes. Yeah.
And X-Men is notorious for we have World 267, World 333. Which version of the universe are we actually in? So that plays a role into it as well. X-Men in the 90s was trying to be very edgy and killing off characters, and then realizing that we shouldn't be doing this. Let's bring them back. But we'll find some weird loophole.
Jean Grey, they brought her back after killing her like twice.
Because we have like Executioner song.
Twice.
Damn.
Yeah. You have Executioner song in the early 92, 93, I want to say, which is a great series. You have I'm totally blanking on the other ones. You have all these like initial runs of great, like Age of Apocalypse comes out in the 90s, where you have all of the X-Men universe every single, like it'll be Cable, it'll be Bishop, it'll be this and that, and all the runs would be in the same storyline, and then retcon it after the storyline was over.
It really just goes to show how stupid Fox was, because like Age of Apocalypse should have been their Infinity War. Like they should have built up Apocalypse over several movies and then like done like a 2-part Age of Apocalypse movie.
Yeah. Oh,
if Fox had any idea what they were doing.
Fox had
actually-
plans. Oh, go ahead, Matt.
Actually, Age of Apocalypse is completely different from the Apocalypse saga. Anyways.
Fox had plans to create their own Secret War way back when they had the X-Men and most of
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four and most of the Spider villains and characters. They had this multiverse plan brought to them, and they scrapped it because superhero movies weren't viable.
Decided to do Josh Tranks.
Until they started making a bunch of money.
And we have to give credit where credit's due.
That as Marvel started kicking up.
Yeah, I mean, but that's how we got Marvel, right? Kevin Feige worked on X-Men 1, so he saw all of the presumably he saw a lot of the.
He worked on
errors.
all the Marvel movies since like Blade. I think he worked on like all the Spider-Mans, all the Blades.
We have to thank Blade for Marvel Studios once
Yes.
again. I know I said this several times. If it's not for Blade being somewhat successful in the late '90s, Marvel Studios goes defunct.
I mean, it was.
We have a great
it was
YouTube
like-
short about that.
it was
Check
a
it out on our
pretty-
channel.
It was a pretty. I won't say like super cheap movie, but I think like it made like its money back to where it had like 2 sequels. So I'd say Blade was very successful. It was the first successful like Marvel theatrical release because there was Howard the Duck, which obviously was not successful. There was that Captain America movie, which wasn't even released theatrically. There was that Punisher movie, which I don't even think was released in the United States, with Dolph Lundgren. They didn't even have the skull on his chest.
Nice.
And so this was like Blade was definitely the first like success, like the first one that should like show the audience like, hey, these Marvel properties can be successful.
Well, thank you, Ryan Reynolds and Patton Oswalt, for the success of Blade 3.
Oh well, yeah, that one didn't help. Yeah, they both went on being more successful. Well, I guess MODOK wasn't successful; they got canceled after one season. Right? Oswalt, but yeah, Ryan Reynolds like. Oh yeah, he did Deadpool right after playing Hannibal King, and then he was Green Lantern. So,
boy, he really turned it around, didn't he? Talk about a redemption story. Deadpool with his mouth.
Now
like,
he's gonna redeem the MCU.
Guys, don't put too much. If we put too much expectations on it, it'll never hold up.
I think it's gonna be Deadpool 2 all over again. It's gonna be like they're promising too much. It's just gonna be filled with cameos, and the story is gonna be like, okay.
Well, joke's on you. I really enjoyed Deadpool too, so let's do it. Let's go.
I guess you think Storm will get her powers back next episode, or let's talk about the Adversary, which should have been the villain in the Echo TV show. I feel
that'd been cool.
Because I think in the Echo solo series that came out like last year, because they were like, oh, Echo has their own show, we gotta like write a comic for her. They used the Adversary, which is that crow thing. This is like some sort of like Cheyenne or Choctaw god.
The Adversary is ultra powerful.
He's like the Shadow King. He's like the Indian version, it seems. He's like sort of like or the Demon Bear. They have like all these like astral plane villains, which you can't like touch, but you can only perceive them. So it seems like the Adversary or something like that.
Somehow the Adversary stepped foot into the Earth realm, so it's up to them to Forge and Storm to stop them, along with a possible third person. I'm not going to spoil here. That might be going up against the Adversary. Straight from the comic books.
Forge's sister.
I'm not. I won't tell. Go pick it up from your local comic book store. Or wait till I think maybe next week or the week after that.
It's always Wolverine, isn't it?
It's never Wolverine.
Major doesn't fucking tell.
So
I'm not spoiling it here, boys.
Mojo's your favorite X-Men villain? You didn't think he was done well? I thought he was done. I mean, he's basically based off. He's based off like what TV producers.
Yeah, Mojo is one of those like. He worked in the '90s, and if you understood like the zeitgeist of the '90s,
no, he said the thing.
Yeah, he works then, but watching it in my 40s now, in the 2020s, I'm just like, wow.
It reminds me.
This is just like hits you way too hard.
Like
over the
trying to
head.
do
It's, like,
90s
too
humor
cheesy.
today.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of a
Focus a
problem
lot.
I'm having with this show. Is like a lot of this worked in the 90s for a reason.
Like the
And
hair,
now
like the hat
trying to, like,
backwards.
well, just because you're trying to do something different and edgy and this, that, and the other thing, and because it's been done to death now, it just doesn't work. And I like to point out to shows like Family Guy. Family Guy when it first came out, or South Park when it first came out, what they were doing was like groundbreaking and edgy, and it was like a very 90s thing. And nowadays it's just like, how
Seen it.
much more extreme can we get? And because it's getting more and more extreme, you're just like, ugh.
Yeah,
Well,
they
I
start
don't
breaking
know.
into weird
I think
taboos
South
and
Park's,
stuff.
I think South
Yeah.
Park's doing better than Family Guy relatively.
Oh, 100%. But still,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like, it's starting to get a little tired.
Well,
And-
Seth MacFarlane.
I don't know, that last South
like,
Park
isn't
special,
Even,
the Panderverse
Seth
is pretty great.
Seth MacFarlane isn't even like writing Family Guy
Yeah,
anymore. He's like,
dude,
doing
Seth
all these
is
other shows.
so detached from Family
He's
Guy.
just the
doing,
voice.
He's doing like the Orville now, like the
Yeah.
Star Trek parody. But so he does. He's just
kind
doing
of
the
where I'm
voices of
going,
Family
though.
Guy, not writing.
What we're kind of going that with now is like, if we're revisiting the 90s and trying to be 90s, it doesn't work right now because we've like grown so much in entertainment since then.
Grown
This
as a
worked in the
people.
90s as a show because we didn't see this kind of shit. And now it's like we've seen this shit for the last 30 years, and it was really cool, but now it's kind of cheesy.
So what you're saying
Except
is, in
Big
10
Wood
years,
over
this
there.
will make a huge resurgence.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Mojo,
Producers are
Mojo
again.
T-shirts
Run out of-
everywhere.
When we cycle
out of
back through.
ideas.
Yeah. Well, hi, everyone from the year 2034. Good job surviving World War III and the apocalypse.
Mojoverse.
Thanks for finding this podcast. Comment down below if you're even able to. Tell us how you found us and how the last 10 years have been. And welcome. Thanks for checking out this podcast as you rewatch.
So hold on,
X-Men
bold
97.
predictions for 2034. Are we gonna?
You will
Trump's
own
eighth
nothing
term.
and you will like it.
Trump's
Oh,
eighth term.
nothing and be happy.
So I want to talk about
You will
Mojo real
rent
quick, 'cause
shit
he
all your
seems-
life and
Well,
never
look at
build wealth.
look at video games now. You would have a physical disc that you own and it's yours.
Not anymore.
Now,
You still
Now
get one.
you-
still get physical disc.
now you buy a download. Well, I haven't. Not many people get a disc anymore,
True.
especially
Well,
like with
well-
Steam.
Yeah.
But
like
people
it-
did trade that.
Technically,
You know.
you don't really own those games.
So it seems like Mojo to me was like, that Matt, that villain Arcade. It seems like they retooled Arcade to make Mojo, where he's just like this hitman who, instead of like killing his targets, just make these elaborate, like, amusement park death traps for them to die.
He's
Oh,
trying
God.
to he's trying to be entertaining.
Oh God.
I'm blanking on his name, but my kids love Teen Titans Go, and there is a character
Everyone
who is
does.
always trapping them in shows, and he
Yeah.
gets his powers based off of how it's gonna bug me. And it's kind of funny because I haven't watched Teen Titans Go so much with my kids. Another one of the few DC things I love. I prefer that character now over Mojo.
Oh
Really?
yeah.
Wow, it's sad.
Yep.
Sad day
I think
for
I think
Mojo.
that
lost
his
idea
mojo.
is, but that says a lot though. I like that idea in a kids show, but
Right.
as like what we're watching, it's kind of like
Also a kids show.
lame.
A slightly more adult kids
Yeah.
show.
it's an
Jesse
adult kids
Mojo.
show. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, and a teenage show. Let me ask you
Mojo
this,
is
guys.
gonna be the villain in the X-Men reboot. Yeah.
Mojo mentions early on
Yes.
that his viewership is down. Is this because in the Mojo universe he also went woke and therefore went broke and is down on viewership?
He was just like, "You're not going to cancel me," so I guess he was not woke enough.
No. He's still in the '90s, so we have a few decades before that.
Before it happens. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, this is 97. And I guess this is the end of the recap for...
Yeah, let's do Invincible, the finale.
Do we have anything about life, death?
Greatest segue ever, gentlemen.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, the death of this recap for X-Men and the life of the Invincible goes on. I mean,
Invincible
I think
season 2 finale. I thought you were stronger. What did you guys think of this episode? Did it feel like a finale?
sort of, yeah. The second half did. I mean, they've been building up to angst, sort of building up. They like the first episode definitely introduced him, and then like the few like after credit scenes like showed him like what he was doing, trying to get
pulling a
revenge on
Thanos.
Invincible. I want to ask Matt or Robbie, who's read the comics, did they change his motivation? Because I think in the comics he just wants revenge on Mark for ruining his experiment, but like in the show it seemed like he was had the memories of all the other variants, and he saw
Yeah,
where
I think
Invincible's
that
a tyrant.
it's that basically is kind of screwed him up because he has
Yeah.
all those memories all together.
Like
And
Invincible
really, it
slaughtering
seems
people.
like he has more. It's mostly bad memories of Mark, and that's kind of overriding
Well, it
that one
seems like he's
good
the
version
original
of him
Angstrom.
there.
Yeah.
The original Angstrom's the only one where Mark's a good guy, I think, and I guess that's why he can't comprehend that Mark would be good in this universe. So he has to get revenge on him because that's his Mark from his universe. But yeah, this episode's pretty dark. He like grabs the baby by the leg,
Super
and we're just
dark.
like, oh yeah, just like
Yeah,
oh,
not
dang.
good.
He like smashed that baby's head against the wall. I mean, it's a Viltrumite, so it might be okay, but like Debbie's arm, just like whoo.
Ooh. Yeah,
Damn.
you can't be like,
Yeah.
I'm the good guy, and then break a woman's arm and throw a baby over your shoulder like you're
Hey,
Luke
Mark's
Skywalker.
mom understood it well about how that you're mad that my son is the hero and you're in here being the villain, and you didn't take that.
Yeah,
one.
that was a
Debbie,
great- that
Debbie
was
was
a great line.
awesome this episode. I'm really glad that they are stepping her
Dude,
up
that
as a
arm
character.
break,
See, I
though.
think
Oh my
if you think about it,
God.
she's really the hero in how she raised Mark.
Right? Because she
And not
points it
the
out. She's like,
villain.
not in this universe.
It's all
my Mark.
it's all really how she raised Mark is the big part of it. I'm sure.
Fuck, guys! I forgot Debbie's a woman. We hate her. Boo Debbie. The writing was boring. Not enough cleavage. I thought she did. If she was a better mother, none of this would have happened. No, absolutely right. Clearly being
She's a
sarcastic.
she's a good mother to the child that isn't even hers, the purple one.
Yeah, I love. She's like trying. She's like, I have to
Debbie's
raise
the true hero in this show.
Oh, and then not to get too far ahead, but at the end, Nolan he says out loud he misses his wife, dude. The feels.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get
He
to
made- he
it.
made the bug-
that
he
was
made the bug
that
run.
was a big part between the compendium books too. Actually,
These feels.
Nolan
So-
didn't miss his Debbie.
yeah, that he
Um,
says he misses his wife, and that's when he finally came to the realization how he's changed.
And he says it out loud. And like, yeah, I don't know. We'll get to it. We'll get into all of that.
So,
Yeah,
we
that's
can't.
jumping
really
straight
quick-
to the
Yeah,
end of
let's
the
go with Matt
episode.
here.
Yeah, really quick, just to take a quick step back. Last podcast we mentioned the fact, and Major, I'm totally buying more and more into this conspiracy theory that
Thank you.
they were going with the whole multiverse idea and then realized it was a failure, so they rushed the animation. And this, you asked, does this feel like a finale? And I say no, because it feels like
I
a
agree.
rushed, oh crap, we have to come up with a new storyline. Because we have all these story arcs that have to get settled with really quick. We have this big villain. The big villain's dead halfway through.
Yeah.
And then the last 20
Oh,
minutes
and
of it is
I noticed
last 20
they.
minutes of it. Sorry.
Oh, I noticed they kind of censored what he did to his face. What Mark did.
You,
to his
you never
face there.
see what happened to.
Yeah, they
He
showed
made
his
him-
face in the comic. It's pretty
He made
gruesome.
him beautiful like Squidward.
Yep.
He keeps hitting his face, he gets more handsome. But yeah, go ahead, Matt.
But the last 20 minutes of this episode are literally, hey, do you remember this storyline?
Mhm.
Hey, do you remember this storyline?
Let's wrap this
hey,
up.
Do you remember this storyline?
Mm-hmm.
And then it ends, and then we get what we've been waiting for. Alan and him trying to like in the end credit scene. It's like, oh shit, guys, yeah, I forgot we have this whole other
Yeah.
story, and it's gonna be a cliffhanger.
Them
No,
breaking
it-
out should have been in the episode. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I would have rather had an hour and a half long episode
Mm-hmm.
than let's just give a nod to the fact that we totally forgot what we were writing about. We rushed to finish the second half. You know, like it follows the
Yeah.
comics, but like how it follows the comics, I'm not liking. I feel like the second half of the season has been
Like they showed
very
more of
frustrating.
they showed more of his struggle in that desert version of the
Mhm.
world
Yep.
in the comic.
Yeah,
And
he
how
was.
he's
in this
Oh,
episode-
how he's kind of like breaking down mentally
Yep.
and doesn't
how
know
could they
what he's
not?
gonna
He
do.
was on the desert planet for 5 fucking seconds. Like he
Exactly.
He wasn't there very long at all in the episode. It
he
felt.
didn't have enough time to
And-
take a shit.
He was
That
still
was my
covered in
next
blood
point.
and everything.
My next point, like in this episode, they just appear. Hey, cool, we
Uh-huh.
found you. It's been
Oh,
20
all right,
years
we're
on
saying-
our end.
We're from the
Cool.
future. We're sending you home.
We never
You know,
mentioned
it-
how we found you, nothing like that.
Hey, oh, we're here.
I
But
just feel very frustrated as a viewer that it does
Even
seem
though
like
that happened in the comic, the way they did it feels
yeah,
pretty
exactly.
just
The way they
thrown
did
in
this,
there.
like, they did
also,
not portray this like lost. They could have cut away for a few, and then like shown, you know, time passing.
Like cut
for
over
him.
to Nolan again or
Yeah.
something. And then
Yeah,
back
have
to,
have the prison break be, and then flash back to like.
and then
him
show
on the-
he's been in that universe for like a few days.
Or-
now
yeah, or,
something.
hey,
Doesn't know what
don't-
he's gonna do.
I like this, but also this is the finale. Don't cut away. Let's have like a 3-minute quiet, like a beautiful quiet montage that Invincible's known for, where there's no talking, no dialogue, right? It's just amazing music and he's flying around the planet looking for something. You know, maybe he like discovers like an abandoned building and he gets his hopes up, and then there's nothing there. But for like 2 or 3 minutes, look at him slowly lose his mind as he discovers
Well,
that there's
they
nothing.
did
on
that
his
part
planet.
when he's
Well, like,
when he's flying
very-
around the world, but that's
the very
after he
first
got
episode,
home.
where it was it
Right,
was to
exactly.
a Radiohead song, which I loved.
Yes.
Was it Karma Police? Like love that scene. Do something like that. Like
Yeah.
there's a better way to portray it than they did.
I guess.
And I feel like the second half, the reason why there was a gap was because they're like, oh crap, we did something wrong. Let's try to fix it as quickly as possible. But still, they have been faithful to the comics for the most part. But it just, these 4
Some
episodes.
parts of it didn't hit as well as they
Yeah.
did in the
Yeah.
comics.
But another part too is like, I mentioned this before. This should not have been an 8-episode show.
No.
This
I
should have
agree.
been 10 or 12.
Yeah.
Because
You know,
this is many issues into the comic
Mhm,
by now.
This is like
That's hungry for the Invincible.
Well, we're like
I'm hoping
50 or
yeah.
60 issues in right now. I want
Something
to
like
say.
that. Yeah.
I hope Amazon like gets because I know like they increased AMC like made Walking Dead like 10 episodes a season to like 16 episodes a season because of even though they adapt the
I
comics
gave
as
up on
well.
Walking Dead after a while.
I stopped at season
Dude, I
6.
got through
think.
2 seasons, but
Fucking-
anyway.
Well, a lot
Dead.
of people dropped after Negan showed up. I kept going after that.
Yeah, that's basically I hear that's when the show like ironically goes to shit, even though like he's like a really popular character in the comics. But
I
they just,
kept
like-
I kept watching for Negan, and
well, they made the Negan storyline like way too long. Like he should have been like 1 season before moving on to the next story. They made it, like 2 seasons long, like 2 long seasons, like each season like being 16 episodes. So like in AMC's just been milking Walking Dead to the point where it's like a dead horse that they're just beating to death.
I wonder what their numbers
Walking
are
Dead.
now.
Jeez.
Well, there's like what
Horse.
4 different spin-offs right now.
I don't
It's
know
like,
if I know anybody who's.
Beat down.
What's
watching
the
it
wait? What's
anymore.
the spin-off about the ones who live? I actually heard that one's getting great reviews.
That's well, yeah, the Rick and Michonne one because it has Rick in it.
Oh, okay.
But the Daryl Dixon one is like the Dead City one with Negan and Maggie is eh. I think the Tales of the Walking Dead everyone hated. Fear the Walking Dead I think is over. There's like another one that I think only lasted like a season.
Jeez, I didn't think of how many shows they got. Yeah.
There's literally been like 6 spin-offs.
There's still 5 Game of Thrones spin-off coming, so
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention this in news, but they cast Duncan Egg right for the Hedge Knight spin-off this week.
Did they?
Duncan
I missed
Egg?
that a little bit.
That's his
Yeah,
name.
Egg.
No, Sir Duncan the Tall and Aegon Targaryen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the one we know of. but there's been, like, what,
Sir
7 or
Dunk the
8
Talls. I've read that that short story.
It makes sense
Collection.
in like nonfiction for like to be like 18 Georges or Henrys or whatever, but like in fiction, come up with new names. Don't name every king Aegon or Ares. It gets super or
Confusing.
Viserys. It's yeah. So just come up with
Well, don't worry. I think
Yeah,
he's
and
done
that-
writing. I think he's done making new characters up.
yeah. He's done writing altogether.
But let's get back to the episode.
A
opened
little
up-
thing we didn't.
Oh.
A little thing we didn't get into. How about the way they did the little Invincible title card?
That's what
thing?
I'm getting
Oh,
to.
yeah.
They
Maybe
open
That
up
was
with
kind of funny.
well, we open up with Nolan
I
getting his
love it.
ass kicked. But I was gonna come to you, Matt, with "Weapon of Choice" by Fatboy Slim. Dude, every time that song
Love
comes
it.
on, it just like hits
Love
that
it.
dopamine drip. Pure '90s nostalgia. But how did we feel
Fatboy
about?
Slim, and I was thinking of Christopher Walken.
Oh, Christopher
dancing
Walken.
while Nolan's getting his ass kicked. You know.
Yeah.
It's like that makes
What a
97.
classic music video. And then he says if he runs, he will feel invincible. We get the title card. I thought that was
You'll
pretty
feel
good.
invincible.
Like $1 million. He says like $1 million
But
afterward.
I love too how like in the background you see
March.
Invincible sneak in, look, and then just go into the house as if it's like this afterthought.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, like the main focus
it was
isn't
kind of a funny little
on
different
Mark.
one
It's
there.
on the jogger. I really did like that. So you can tell him to find
Just a
Angstrom Levy holding his
random
mom.
character doing it for once.
But overall, I did like this episode a lot. I think that Angstrom
Yeah.
Levy, while not as strong as Omni-Man from the first season, was a good villain. I thought his
I
his
thought so.
motivations might be messed up. He's crazy, and he seemed like that.
I felt bad
that
for him, dude.
montage, well, all those montages of like Invincible just slaughtering people, like his killing his son in front of him, and then like literally like having him lined up.
Oh, when he's
And
chopping
then
necks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chopping the heads.
yeah.
Like,
So, like,
damn.
really fucked up shit. Like, okay,
Well,
I can see why he hates Invincible.
let's get
Like,
let's
they
get
did a
through
good
some.
job.
So,
Let's
Oh,
get through
dude,
some
all the
montages.
different seeing
Well-
some all those different versions of Mark, how he's turned
Yeah.
out in other universes.
Yeah, but also,
Um,
is the guy an idiot? Like, does he not understand? He's got a brain that's ginormous. That's the size of like half of his back, right? So he's not an idiot. Does he not understand how the infinite worlds, how the multiverse works? Like, there is a world out there where Angstrom Levy is Adolf Hitler. Okay,
So
like,
so to cut you off, right? I know exactly where you're going with this, but the way, and this is maybe a sign of good writing. The way I feel is that the visions he's having in this show, at least, and not in the comics, is all of the versions of himself that he saved that hooked themselves up to the machine.
Yeah, and they're all just
Because
uploaded into
They're
him.
all uploaded into him. So
Right.
the only ones he saved are going to be the ones he needed to save. You're not going to go to a planet in
so
which
there's a
Mark
bias.
is, so there's a bias. And so I
Like,
kind
it's
of
it's all ones who got away
Genius.
from Mark.
You know,
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay,
That's
I'll give
what
that
I
to
was
you.
reading into it. So, viewers, if I'm wrong here, let me know because I heard.
Yeah, my thinking was like this is the only universe where Invincible doesn't join up with Omni-Man, and this is like the only one and that's the one the Angstrom. This is the only Angstrom that has like powers to travel between the multiverse. But I don't think Angstrom could be Hitler Major since he was born way after World War II. But there's probably a universe where Angstrom's a dictator, maybe.
There's a universe with talking dinosaurs. Maybe
Yes,
World War II took an extra 40 years.
Yeah, we're gonna
on.
get we're gonna get into
But-
these
but no,
montages.
I have to, if we're talking about montages, so the montages happen during the fight scene. We'll get into the montages, but after this, I
Okay.
have to ask what
Yeah.
everybody actually truly thought of the fight scene, because I will, spoiler alert, tell you now, I thought it was dumb.
Okay,
with
Well, the
they're going
montages,
through-
but I thought the fight scene itself was dumb.
with them going
anyways,
to the
montages.
Yeah.
multiverse.
so the talking dinosaurs, I want a whole spin-off series. Like, I know we were just complaining about spin-off series, but give me a whole one-off. Like, you gave me
How
an
about
Adam
the-
Eve spin-off. I want
the Spider-Man universe.
Excuse me,
Agent
you mean
Spider?
Agent
Agent-
Spider? What are you trying to get them
Agent
sued?
Spider was
Don't-
that his
don't
name?
Let
Yeah.
Sony know. Don't let Sony know that. They don't want to
And
sue Amazon.
I love it. Prof Ock instead of Dr. Ock. He's a professor instead of a doctor. It's Prof Ock.
Wow, that was pretty
Hilarious.
close. They should have called him Professor Squid or something, or Cephalopod, whatever octopus is.
Is that his actual name? Prof. Ock?
Yeah, Prof Ock is what he
Oh
calls
my
them.
gosh.
That's funny.
And then we
and they had
see
the guy
Omnipotus.
from- Yeah, that was crazy. Like, what the hell are you doing?
He's
here?
like, "What you doing here?" Or he's like, "Yeah." He's asking Mark, like, "What are you doing here? And how'd you get here?" And
And
then he
Omnipotus
meets.
also multiverse. I'm guessing. That's my understanding because I'm like Omnipotus is like omniscient, right? So he can be everywhere at once.
Right. We've seen him in the series before. He got defeated earlier
Yeah.
in the season. So I think he
But
was
was
like
he
back in
taken
his
to-
he was back in his home world, and yeah, that's why he was so confused how Mark got to him there. But he
Yeah.
meets a man who dresses like a bat,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he calls himself,
See,
a lack
thought
of
that was
creativity.
I give
I
that
liked
joke
it.
a 3 out of 10.
So you're a
That's
man who dresses up like a bat.
I mean, he's just addressed because you have to remember what this was is Kirkman was calling out the industry that he loves so much, but he also like this is like also satire. Like, you are mocking and making fun of the superhero genre.
Oh, another
at
thing
the
I-
same time, you're
another thing I
paying
love
full
that he
homage to
does-
it.
Another thing I love that he does in the show and the comic, Mark's favorite comic book writer is him basically talking to the writer of the comic and how he does
That was really
comic
cool.
Oh, yeah, it's like
and
Mhm.
show.
sometimes
Talk
they
over
won't
their
show
mouth.
the cartoon character's mouth.
Yeah,
like
and
they-
I
since
thought that
they
was
couldn't
really
really
cool.
do what they did in the comic was how they reuse still images for different panels in the comic,
Yeah.
but they can't really do that version of it in the show. But
Sometimes they'll just show the back of the head or not even show the mouth. The same money animation.
That was
Yeah,
that was pretty
and
good.
he's doing all of it while he's talking.
But I think it was cool
What I
that
love. Sorry, go ahead, Boris.
Well, I mean, the whole Batman thing, like the joke wasn't funny, but the way they were able to have Invincible meet Batman was clever. Like without showing him, without saying Batman, that was
Right.
clever. I just thought the
Yeah,
joke
it was
itself,
just a
or
nod
the,
to it. Yeah.
the critique that Mark was making was weak, but I understand the purpose behind it. So, but it was funny in that sense.
Yeah,
without the actual
I
joke. If
found it
that makes
funny.
sense.
We have to remember that this is Invincible's run by Image Comics.
Right.
Kirkman has worked with Image Comics several different times. Image Comics notoriously in the 90s ripped off superheroes from Marvel
Oh, yeah.
and DC. And so the call out here is on two levels. One is they're calling out the silliness of DC and Marvel, but they're also calling out, he calls out in the comics, the fact that Image initially, when it's founded, consistently, there's like Wolverine knockoffs, there's,
Oh yeah,
Batman
all of Rob
knockoffs.
Liefeld,
there's,
all of Rob
if you
Liefeld's
look at the
characters
mid 90s,
yeah.
especially in the Spawn series, all these new, Savage Dragon, all these like crazy new comics consistently ripped off Marvel and DC. And a lot of it had to do with a lot of these guys were coming from Marvel and DC. But I love that nod for there's like even more subtle humor to it, because he's making fun of Marvel and DC, but he's making fun of Image, at least in the comics, more so. He's making fun of Image for copying these stupid traits.
Spawn is literally just like
What?
Venom's look. Like it's literally Venom meets Ghost Rider meets Punisher. And
It's-
I think
yeah.
most of like Rob Liefeld's young blood characters or what else were just copies of the characters he's created for New Mutants.
Youngbloods,
Force.
Wildcats. Wildcats is just the X-Men redone.
Yeah, Jim Lee. I think that was Jim
Yep.
Lee's one. The Darkness was basically like the Shadow.
But
That was
seriously,
Mark Silvestri's.
go back
one.
to the first few runs of Image Comics in '94 and look at those comic book covers and being like, I can tell these guys just came over from Marvel, and I can tell these guys just came over from DC. It's kind of hilarious.
Now, is that why there was a Mad Max reference at the end too? Does that have something to do with Image Comics, or
Oh, was there?
that's why I
guess.
figured him at the very end before he gets reacquainted with Engstrom. He's like in the desert and there's like some cars, and he was like, "I said I wasn't
yeah.
in the mood for it." I thought that was
And
Mad
he was-
Max.
He was in the Walking Dead universe, which I guess they couldn't use in the Walking Dead characters because AMC owns the rights.
Yeah, so he just made it generic
Or
zombies.
was it just a general zombie?
Yeah, it felt
universe?
General Zombie to
I
me,
think
but
the
There's
intent.
so
was-
I never watched The
there's so
Walking
many
Dead.
different versions of zombie
It's Robert
movies.
Kirkman, so the intent was the Walking
yeah,
Dead
you have to.
universe.
I can see
Oh,
that.
yeah.
They couldn't use any
yeah.
they couldn't use any characters. Though.
Yeah.
Like no Rick or Negan. So
I liked how Mark is dumb and stupid and like brash and a teenage boy, and then he gets smart and he's like, "All right, well, fucking, I'm not gonna go through any more of your portals, Angstrom. I'm just not gonna move anymore." And then Angstrom, just being so much smarter than him, is like, "Okay," pulls out a knife and just throws it at Debbie, and then
Yeah.
Invincible's
And then
gotta go and
he's
save
like-
him.
He's
And then
like every
portal.
time.
Portaled again. I was like, I got you again,
Got him.
motherfucker. Game recognized
Well, he
game.
Well,
Got him.
it was either that or let the knife hit his mom.
Right, and that's when you get the zombie apocalypse. Which I thought that was pretty
Which
good.
which I guess was like a cool visual, but it's like he just like float above them. He's in no danger at all.
That's why, yeah, no, absolutely, the safest
zombies-
universe he could be in is the zombie
zombies can
apocalypse.
fly.
That's
in this
true.
one, I
Yeah,
mean,
none of them are getting him up there.
Zombies can run and Dawn of the Dead. There should be a movie where zombies can fly, like, which is basically sort of like what Cell was, right?
They fly
The
now?
the zombies floated in Cell, right? I think.
Robbie, that's
Then
next,
there'll be fast
script we're
flying
writing.
and slow flying zombies.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's the next script we're writing. We have to do
After
the
Alabama Shogun.
Alabama Shogun, and now it's going to be flying zombies.
Okay, so Matt, you talked about how you weren't really thrilled with the fight, and we're about to break into it. I usually hate fights like this because why wouldn't you just leave him in a dimension where there's no air, or just drop him off in a dimension where he's gonna die, or there's 0 people in the galaxy, and then you just forget about him, right? But there's a specific line when they're talking and when they're fighting, that he says, "I don't want you to die in some random universe. I want to do it myself." And I thought, like, that's all it took. So it was a great line, and just like the delivery, you could hear the hate and the voice acting.
The angst.
And I was,
The angst.
the angst. Thank you. I'll take that. You can hear it in the voice acting, and so it made perfect sense to me. So I usually off the get go hate fights like this because I'm like, why would you fight him? But like, he's made it so personal that I'm like, oh no, this is you foolishly received medical enhancements and upgrades and think you can handle Invincible now. Spoiler alert, you can't. Rob, what'd you think about the fight?
Of the final fight with.
Yeah, the portals,
Okay.
the face smashing in. What'd you think about the? Did you guys notice the comparison between season 1 finale where Nolan was beating the shit out of Invincible, and he held in that last punch?
Yeah.
And then
And he
this
was-
season,
Well, the part when he was
Mark
looking
does not
down at
hold
his
that.
hands and stuff, that was like a little nod to what his dad was doing, I'd say.
yeah,
Looking down at his bloody hands. Well, and like you were saying, it did feel pretty short, but I think it was also trying to show how the whole title of wasn't the title, I Thought You Were Stronger.
yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was even just talking about how he's all upgraded and stuff now and punched him, but once Mark goes all out though.
This would have been a great time for him and Agent Spider to have had a conversation because Spider-Man always has to hold his punches back.
With great power comes great carnage, or I forgot how it goes. But yeah,
That's exactly how it goes.
I thought the fight was pretty good. I mean, it was interesting, like all the universes they were falling through. So, but I mean, like I said, I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was
Better than Doctor Strange.
The villain can't always be as good as the last villain, especially when the first season villain's really good. So, but this was it was different, and I enjoyed it, and I like that what's so great about the Invincible universe that there's so much variety of villains and characters that they don't all need to be the same. So sometimes there's some are more stronger written than others, and some not. But hey, that's it comes with variety.
Yep.
So.
Matt, what'd you think? How about you, naysayer?
I get where you're going. My initial reaction is like, why not do this? And they say that line. But there's just like little small things with just like, I hate how every time Mark comes out of a portal, he's like ready to fight or like at an angle where he can grab him. Like, I was kind of hoping he'd go more like, how to say it, like more torturous with it, like pop him out in front of like a wall and he flies into a wall and he's stuck there
more
for a minute.
creative,
Or like,
yeah,
instead of like, I'm just gonna open up a portal again. Oh, you're flying right back at me again.
Okay,
That's silly.
Like
I can
the
see
fight, like I feel like he should have tenderized him a little bit more, and then the fight should have happened, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Not just like,
Tender
oh
him
no,
up.
Mark's back? I didn't know Mark's back. I just opened up a portal to let that. And I got that way too many times. It's like, I'm going to open up the portal again. Oh crap, I'm not ready for Mark to come at me. It was just, that's where my frustration,
just
You're
over
this
and over. I
master
can see
guy.
that. I can okay.
Also, he could only open up portals where he like currently is. And they even mentioned about like in this world, it's 80 feet below where we are.
Right.
Yet
Oh,
in
yeah.
this world, we're on a skyscraper. In this world, you're floating here. It
Yeah,
just,
and the portals are supposed to be coming out in those
Yeah.
same specific
Exactly.
spots in that universe.
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So that kind of was
That makes
frustrating,
no
and that's just a little nitpicky of me maybe. But like they even talk about it later. He's like, there's a universe where it's 80 feet below. So I
Yeah,
feel
where
like
you're 8 stories.
You
up
brought
in
it up
the
so
air
I
or
can
something.
nitpick.
yeah. So it's like I said, I feel like he should have Mark should have been suffering more, and then
Yeah.
we go to the fight, and then he's like, oh wait, I'm not powerful enough.
Oh, but Mark did suffer a lot though because
Mentally.
I like Angstrom Levy. I know his name's Levy. Levy just hits the tongue wrong. I'm sorry. I apologize
That's how
in
I've
advance.
that's
Yeah.
how I've always
I've
read
always
it in the
I've always
comic
read it
too.
Levy,
Levy.
so I'll try to say Levy, but if I say Levy, that's who I'm in. I'm sorry. But Levy threatens Mark for the last time, and then Mark just gets so angry. He's like, "You've threatened my family for the last time." And he's like, "I've been holding back," and then he lets go. And while we all kind of disagree on the writing of the fight, I wanted to highlight what I think is a masterclass in writing, and that's by Paul Tassi over at Forbes. He writes for entertainment stuff that
here
we
it comes.
cover. He wrote an article called "Invincible Crosses a Line in the Season 2 Finale." And with like the picture and the headline, like it's a very clickbait title, and you're led to believe like he's talking about the TV show Invincible, and you're like, well, it was a pretty gruesome episode, but I don't remember them crossing the line. Let me see what this guy's talking about here. He's not talking about the TV show. He's talking about the character, of which when the character Invincible clearly crosses his own personal line when he kills Angstrom, right? Like you see Mark have a huge breakdown. So while the article himself was kind of bland and didn't have anything to add to the topic, I thought the title itself was a masterclass in clickbaiting. So I just wanted to highlight that for anyone who saw that article and didn't click into it. That's exactly, because I think, Robbie, that showed up on your headlines too, right? In your feed.
Of that he's say it again.
That Invincible crosses the line in the season 2 finale. You said that you saw that headline too, but you didn't click on it.
It got Major to click.
It got me on it. So yeah, game recognized game, Paul.
One headline I did see of who will be coming up in the next season. Battle Beast.
Oh yeah.
Battle Beast and
Battle Beast.
Conquest.
We're gonna beast them
I didn't hear
all.
about Conquest. They mentioned what's his name? Who turns into the Rock? Turns into a rock.
Dwayne
And he
Dwayne
took
Johnson?
he took over.
Titan.
He took
Titan,
over.
yeah.
And he took over. Not Metalhead or what's his name? The robot head. Dude.
Tech Jacket.
Your head.
Gearhead. I knew it was something
Gearhead?
head. I think that's what it was.
Gearhead?
Yeah, but he took over his whole business there. Apparently, they're both coming back.
Oh,
is a
Gearhead!
big
I remember Gearhead. That was one of the mafia bosses from season 1. Yeah, with Battle Beast.
and he called in Battle Beast.
Yeah,
against
that was
Mark.
gruesome.
That was when Mark kind of first found out he wasn't so invincible.
Not so invincible after all.
Dude, Battle Beast is a beast, man.
We're nitpicking, which is what we're doing here on this last section of the podcast here, brought to you by Matt. While we're nitpicking,
brought to you by Battle Beast.
brought to you by Battle Bots, more like it. That'd be awesome. And whatever Robbie's cat's doing at the moment.
Sometimes he just sits right in the middle of the screen and looks at me.
Angstrom mentions early on that he's disabled the listening devices in Mark's house. Wouldn't that set off red flags for Cecil? like they're constantly monitoring and then they lose all communications? Like Cecil
Oh, I'm
can
sure he
literally
was-
teleport. Why didn't he just teleport just into the front yard? They have a big bay window. He could just look in, see if everything's fine.
Maybe they didn't know what was going to happen.
I don't know either.
What about
but
what about once her arm got broken? If
Yeah.
they were out there,
right? Nothing. But they just it's like what a coincidence. Like after Angstrom's left, that Cecil and the team arrive. Like
we
what,
lost
like,
all our spy communication. Something.
Yeah. Well, let's wait half an hour to see why that is.
Well, it was only a few minutes, to be fair. I mean,
it?
Well, yeah, but with people with people with
Teleporting
instant
abilities.
teleportation, yeah, it's still too slow. That's still too slow for me.
I think he mentioned it costs millions like every time they use it,
Oh,
and then
worth
they
it.
just start using it all the time later.
Guys, that moment when Mark realized that he was stuck on that planet, just boned.
Yeah.
And I guess I just wanted to point out what is up with Eve. It looks like she smoked 2 vapes a day for 20 years while they were looking for Mark.
well, they were
It's been- it's
stressed.
been, yeah.
I was gonna say the stress they wrote really well on
Well,
her face.
so you don't have Invincible anymore on the Guardians, and now
Well,
they're
and
like,
it's- sounded
Life's a
like-
lot harder.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
they
it's a lot
said
harder
like
with the
things
battles.
weren't going well, but they didn't go into detail of what exactly happened.
No, they're not supposed to because it'll change the timeline. But Eve says "fuck that" and tells Mark that she
love
loves
you.
him.
I know.
I love you. And then she's like, "Tell me you love me. Tell me you don't love me. Just tell me something." And it's like
And then he goes, "I know," and walks through the portal.
just Han Solo.
Han Solo on it.
And then later on, when he goes to talk to Kate, does not tell her anything at all. And I was like, what a beta
He's
man.
having a lot of conflicting stuff.
Oh,
What I
there was that
wonder
one
is,
part
Yeah, he does.
when he's
I
flying
wonder if he
around
still
and he's
would have ended
devastated.
up with Eve if Eve didn't put that in his head. I think he was already interested. But,
Yeah, he was definitely already
she had
interested.
Rex and stuff at the time.
Yeah,
This is her ex.
Rex
No,
is. You
thank
can't
you,
spell
Rex.
X without Rex.
How is Rex that like strong? Like he can't die.
It's
That's
kind of
crazy,
funny.
got shot in the
Oh,
head.
It was
You got shot
not.
in the
It wasn't
head.
in this episode, but after he got shot and he was in the hospital. It's kind of funny
Yeah.
how he was kind of like that, his asshole therapist in a way. When he
Oh,
just
yeah.
immediately knew
Talks-
that what was
mhm.
going on, and he was like, "All right, tell me what's going on."
This has nothing to do with the storyline, but those two lady Indiana Jones archaeologists.
Yeah.
When they discover the ancient
Oh yeah,
mummy,
I forgot about that part.
and
yeah.
he's like, "Wait, what? I can only inhabit the body of a male." It's just so funny. And then Invincible's just flying super fast and like destroys
Yeah.
the team or
Does he
whatever.
come back in the comics, Rob? Or is that just like insignificant?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't really remember him.
I'm guessing
Clancy
that's gonna be
Brown
a
was the
plot line
voice
in-
actor, so I'd imagine not.
I don't
He
think
also-
that
he
was a
also voices
big part
General
of the
Kree.
show.
Exactly, yeah. So I don't think I think that was just like, hey, we're gonna do a fun line. You're in the studio today. Go ahead and record this for us real fast.
We need some filler.
And I don't remember that happening exactly either.
I thought it was
think
just a
that
cute
was a
little
new thing they
fun
threw
little
in
world
there.
building for sure.
So, Major, does Fallout what about next week?
Fallout drops. Well, we're recording this on the 9th. Fallout drops on the 10th. All the episodes. Fans.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how you want us to do this.
What?
Hopefully not all at once. We'll probably cover the
We can do,
first
like,
half,
Half? Yeah.
and then X-Men, episode 5, and then we'll cover the second half in episode X-Men number 6 on the week after that.
Cool. And then hopefully the boys. Is that in June or in July?
Oh yeah, I can't
I
wait.
think it's
for
early
the boys.
July.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we're like nothing to talk about in June.
Well, good,
you know,
because we have a
like,
lot of movies to catch up on. None of us have seen The Marvels, and it is out right now, so we can watch that. And there's a bunch of other stuff we need to catch up on, too. Aquaman 2, we still haven't covered. We got to cover that.
June 13th is
Aquaman.
the boys.
Oh, is it June?
Okay.
Okay. June 13th. Awesome.
I mean, if
Wait,
Amazon
hold
was
on.
smart, they would have like spaced out Fallout till like end like the week before.
Guys,
June
yeah.
13th.
Are you...
Comes out with, they're dropping
Aquaman.
3 episodes at once.
Are you a little worried that they're dropping all the episodes at once?
They're just dropping the first 3, he said.
Oh, with,
or the first
well,
two.
Well, that's The
this
Boys.
This is with the
Episode.
boys. The boys.
Does
Yeah,
that make
drop
you
all
even
the
more
episodes at
worried? Like, this isn't a shift change for them in how they release content. This is a specific issue for Fallout. So do you guys wonder if maybe the
Dropping
quality of
everything.
Fallout's not great?
How many episodes?
They haven't released any reviews yet, have they?
I haven't seen any, so, you know, that's probably means there's a
Okay.
review embargo, and probably
I mean,
not
I
good.
could be wrong. It could be great. It could be great, but usually I think Amazon wants to get like good word of mouth, like way before, like a week before a show comes out.
Yeah. So people don't have like a perception before it even
8
comes out.
episodes. Looks like 8 episodes, according to IMDb.
Okay. All at once. Okay, well, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, guys,
Quality
we really
problem.
appreciate you sticking around. You guys have been invincible this season. We really
Yeah,
appreciate
wait
it.
another 2 years the next one. All right.
Thanks, everyone. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, comment down below. It really does help out the algorithm. Crazy. It's crazy how much it helps out the algorithm.
Is there a premiere date? Is there a premiere date? for
Yeah.
season 3 of
All
Invincible?
the.
Like, how long do you think it'll be for season 3 of Invincible? Like a year and a half?
2 years.
God,
2
I hope
years,
it's not
probably.
too long.
Because the first one came out like 2021 or 2022.
2022. I think there's a 2-year gap between each of the 2
Okay.
seasons.
Yeah, give us
I've
like
read,
more than
I've
an
read the whole
episode.
comic series. It's the last season.
Well, maybe with AI, they'll just scan in the comic book and be like, "Hey,
Not if
make
they're
us
SAG-AFTRA.
make us a quickie here."
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get like a Adam Eve sort of spin-off, like Rex's origin.
Give
Or
me those talking
Duplicate origin.
dinosaurs. If you
We,
want
never,
those
we never talked
views.
about Duplicate coming back. Duplicate.
I'd be interested in more with Rex. I like Rex's character. He's fun.
My heart goes out to Immortal. That man was broken because Duplicate was dead. And that bitch couldn't pick up a phone and text a man and say, not dead or still alive or new phone, who dis?
Not
New
dead,
Kate, who
JK.
dis? Yeah, like,
Well, she had to protect her secret, Major. That's the thing. Is
Cecil would have asked her to come back from the field.
Cecil, how'd you not know that there was a 0? Cecil. You're slipping on us, Cecil. Anyway.
Maybe we'll get like a Cecil origin story, because isn't Cecil like his origin?
Now,
like,
see,
lost
now
all-
we're spitballing. I'm back on
Cecil
board.
doesn't
I would
care.
like a Cecil origin story.
Yeah, so that'd be cool. All right, that's our show, everyone. Major, you want to plug our social media?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Zeitgeist Zealots. We currently have a reel blowing up right now. It's got about 50,000 views. I'm not sure what the technical definition for viral is, but the video before that has 13, and this one's got 50. So relatively, it has blown the
Relatively
fuck
viral.
up. And it's a clip from our last episode, episode
Wait,
136.
how much money do you get for 50,000 views?
Money, dude. I'm doing this for the love of the game. You think we're getting paid for this?
It's a labor of love.
Don't even
Not
have
until you
a
guys subscribe
monetization,
more.
so-
Please subscribe more. Then we can
Yeah,
afford to
we're
get
just
some
cash
faces.
flow.
We can
I know,
we can afford to pay
all those-
Forrest to see his face.
Yeah, pay for Forrest
Thousand
Deadpool mask.
subscribers. Yeah. All right, that's our
Forrest
show.
One day, Forrest will have that Deadpool mask.
Oh, and you can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, or anywhere you listen to your second favorite
Apple
podcast.
Podcast, Google
We-
Podcast.
Leave a review, 5-star. That really helps us out. Allegedly. No, it does. It helps out
Allegedly.
a ton.
I mean, 1 star will hurt, absolutely. So, just 5 stars only. All right, that's our show. I'm Forrest.
Major.
And I'm Robbie.
I'm Tip.
My mute button fucking got stuck. God damn it.
Oh,
God
no.
dang it.
No, the
damn.
flow.
Huge. All right.
Fail.
Damn.